la purpose land. I wanna know who owns the land. Who wanna know who owns the land? Okay, now listen carefully. Chinese are ruling the Chinese land. Japan is ruled by Japanese. England is governed by Englishmen. America is governed by Americans. So, Africa must be ruled by Africans. I wanna know who owns the land. We must rule from Cape to Cairo. We must rule our purpose land.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. We must rule our purpose land. That purpose land being the land of Ambazonia. Welcome and good evening for those of you who are joining from Ground Zero, the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. Thank you for tuning in. Those of you joining by way of the social media from across the globe, from the USA, Canada, Europe, continental Europe, the Middle East, wherever you find yourself, thank you for joining, and do me the favor as usual. Please go ahead, hit the share button. Let us make sure that the platform is quickly populated. Let us quickly bring everybody on board and up to speed with what I come here to do today. This is going to be a very, very interesting show tonight. This is all about stopping 11 February from showing its ugly head anywhere where we call Ground Zero, talking about the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. So, comrades, go ahead and hit your share button and let others know that the anchorman is here and alive, Comrade Patrick, it's good to have you, sir. Go ahead and adjust your camera. Bend it down a little bit and close the gap. The other way around. There you go. Awesome. No, it's still not good. Not good. See the gap between your head and the frame. So lower your. I think you should lower your camera and get more of yourself in there. A little more. More again. Okay, perfect. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, you go ahead and hit that share button. Hit that share button. This is Operation Stop 11 February. Operation Stop 11 February. And talking about 11 February, I have a very special monologue. I bring to you today, and I will run that monologue throughout the week until the 11th of February. But I'd like you to note that today is the 4th of February. Today is the 4th of February. The very day on which, the very day on which Cameroon seceded from the Union. The very day on which Cameroon seceded from the Union, it was February 4th, 1984, that Cameroon formally seceded, left, walked away, abandoned the Union. So we were essentially, effectively from February 4th, 1984, left to go back to what we were prior to 1961. So I'm going to be bringing you that little presentation, and I believe it is going to make a lot of sense, and I will run it throughout the week until we hit the 11th of February. So, comrades, again, good to have you. You go ahead and invite as many people as you can. We are going to do some fundraising as I come to you now. There is a fundraiser that is going on. There is a fundraiser that is going on in Zoom. If you want to join the fundraiser in the Zoom, those are the numbers you can dial. Those are the numbers you can dial to join the Zoom meeting that is going on now to raise funds for Operation Stop 11th February. Operation Stop 11 February. Use any of the numbers on the screen to join the Zoom meeting that is going on right now. In the meantime, if you really don't want to join the Zoom meeting, we will be bringing you the fundraising payment links eventually as we go on, so that you can go on the website or Cash App or Zelle or PayPal and make a payment, send the receipt, screenshot the receipt, send to me. We will announce your name and send the information to those who are doing the collation. So please, this is what this show is all about. Now, before I forget, I have a very exclusive show tomorrow. I have an exclusive show tomorrow. Eric Chinje will be here with me. Eric Chinje will be my guest here tomorrow. So I'd like you guys to take the information home. Eric Chinje will be here live with me tomorrow, Monday, February the 4th. No poster is out. No poster it will be out. But I just want to inform you by word of mouth. So tomorrow, same time, 8 p.m. Amber, as usual, Eric Chinje will be joining me live on the show. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, this show today is about stopping 11th February. This show today is about stopping the 11th of February. And so I really want to appeal to every one of you to collaborate, participate. If it is your $20, if it is your $50, if it is your $100, please, it will add up. We want to raise at the least between 15 and 20,000 today. Between 15 and 20,000 today, to see that the boys on the ground are well fortified in view of what is planned towards 11 February. So I want to rely on you as you hit the share button. I hope that the numbers climb. I just hope the numbers climb, because I know some people are so scared when they hear money. Now let me start with putting up the different payment links. I hope it is here. The different payment links on the screen for you to see, and if possible, copy them. If possible, copy all that information on your screen. You have the Zelle phone number, and the name on the Zelle account is Amber Restoration Foundation. You have the Cash App on your screen. Mar Franca is the name on the Cash App. Then you have the PayPal email address as donations at amberrestfoundation.org. And then you can also go online on the website amberdues.com to make a payment towards the fundraising. Then you also have, if you are in Europe or in the United Kingdom, you have Barclays bank credentials you can use to deposit, make a donation tonight. The only number I don't have here is that of Canada. But please, if you are in Canada, feel free to call in and let us see what we can do to help you get a payment method from Canada. So, comrades, I hope you screenshot what you are seeing. Screenshot what you are seeing, so that if any time you want to make a payment, you can just go back to it. Just go back to it, and you get the details. So again, the Zelle number is there, the Cash App is there, the PayPal is there, and then banking information for direct deposits into any bank account in Europe and the UK entirely. It is there on the screen. So please let us set the ball rolling. Let us set the ball rolling. I am being joined by Comrade Patrick. Comrade Patrick, it's a great pleasure to have you tonight, sir. I hope you can hear me. Give me 1 second. Yes. Go on, sir.
Thank you, Comrade Chris, and thank you to all the Ambazonians who are coming out today to contribute and stop this 11th February. And I want to say this is an opportunity for all of us to show our determination to the people of La Republic that we are not and we are never going to be together. We are never going to celebrate 11th February in Ambazonia. We will have our own holidays, and what the Ambazonian people will decide, we are going to celebrate that, not anything that is going to be imposed on us by La Republique du Cameroon.
Absolutely, absolutely. Again, it is great to have you. We're going to delve into that subject of 11 February a little bit so that our audience out there understand why we detest 11 February. We detest, not 11 February, we detest the so-called Youth Day on the 11th of February. We detest that occasion because 11 February was the day that led us into where we are today. It was the day that Ambazonia was literally handed over to La République du Cameroon in a skewed so-called referendum. Some call it plebiscite. That is the one reason why we hate that occasion being called Youth Day. In fact, Youth Day did not start 11 February. Youth Day by the Southern Cameroon government was October 26th. Comrade, I'm sure you've read a little bit about that. Talk about that. What do you know about that?
Well, one thing about the Youth Day is not a day to be celebrated within the Ambazonian context. I cannot imagine if somebody decides to go around and sell your people into slavery and decide to make it a day that you go out to celebrate that day. How do you expect the Ambazonian people to take that? You know, the colonial masters, what they do, they choose what they can give to the people. They choose what day they can celebrate with the people. And one thing that is really spectacular about this day, there are just 2 days that their leader comes out and speak to the people. And one of the day is the Youth Day.
Yeah.
And we cannot just imagine why he chose a day that he knows he enslaved the people of Southern Cameroon. Have met as to why we're even living together. So, but they choose this day for the president to come out, and it's ironical that somebody who is a leader of a country, you see him twice a year to talk to the people. When there are natural disasters, there are major issues in the country, he doesn't come out. Then on 2 occasions, on the 1st of January, he comes out, and on the eve of the Youth Day or the day of the Youth Day, he'll come out and talk to the people. What is he doing for one whole year and choose just 2 days that they will see him? How is he governing his own country? So those are some of the things that make Ambazonia to detest anything called Youth Day, because it is not a day for us to celebrate.
Absolutely. In fact, when we grew up that day, I mean, they used to call it Empire's Day. Empire's Day. And then La République du Cameroon came over, changed it to, well, again, I don't want to blame them unnecessarily. It was called Youth Day originally by John Gu Foncha and his administration. But we have since developed bad blood about that day, and I don't see any occasion we're going to be going back to that day to celebrating it, because if anything, we detest it and we abhor it, because it is essentially the day that we were made slaves to La République du Cameroon. And we have since banned it from the beginning of this struggle, and we also did the same with 20th May, so-called 20th May of 1972. They also call it a national day, and it has a lot of semblance, because 20th May was essentially when we were completely assimilated. If 11th of February 1961 was the beginning of annexation, or the exact day of annexation, then 1972 February, May 20th was the exaction of that assimilation, because from now many people do not know how, they do not understand our history when they hear when they hear Southern Cameroons, former British Southern Cameroons, they hear West Cameroon, and they hear East Cameroon, and now Ambazonia. Let me clear the record. Now, with with Nigeria, we were called Southern Cameroons under the British trusteeship, which is also the reason why we were called British Southern Cameroons, because we were administered by the British administration as a country that did not yet have independence. Now, when they came in, when we walked away from the Nigerian House of Assembly, we still call ourselves the British Southern Cameroons or the Southern Cameroons. However, in 1961, when we voted in that fraudulent plebiscite to join La République du Cameroon, we became known as West Cameroon, and La République du Cameroon was known as East Cameroon at that moment. Now, don't forget, when La République du Cameroon gained their independence, they were called La République du Cameroon, which is the name we are calling today, which is what they did on February 4th, which is what Biya did on February 4th, 1984. It was on February 4th, 1984, like today. Today makes it 40 years. It was February 4th, 1984, that Mr. Paul Biya made a 360 swing and left. They had already left the Federal Republic of Cameroon, went to the United Republic of Cameroon, that was 1972, and then 1984, they went back to La République du Cameroon. In other words, the Republic of Cameroon, which is why the documentary, a brief documentary I bring to you shortly, explain that it was the time, the occasion on which we went back to our status prior to 1961. So when you hear former British Southern Cameroons, former British Southern Cameroon, they are referring to us when we joined Nigeria and when we left Nigeria and formed a government under Ndele and then Foncha. Then when you hear West Cameroon, that was after the 1961 plebiscite. So we became known as West Cameroon, and La République du Cameroon was known as East Cameroon, in a federation of two states equal in status. Equal in status. This is something that I thought I should make a little sense to it. So, Comrade, if you have anything to add there, go ahead, please.
So one thing that most people in that country do not understand is that this particular day, there was a meaning, there was a reason why this particular day was even brought up. To it was outlined as a day that the youth should come out to understand the ideology of nation building and national unity for citizens of that country. And that is how they were trying to bring that responsibility that the youth of the country are supposed to be the future of that same country. But when you look at the situation where we find ourselves today, you understand that there has been nothing like youth taking over or youth preparing to be leaders of tomorrow in that country, because we know La Republic have never had any succession plan in any iota of their department. When you look from the ministries to the military and even going down to their colonial administrators, people who are in their 90s, 80s, and maybe 70s, they are the same people that have been there since the 60s. So I don't know why they even celebrate this youth day. What are they trying to tell the youth? That do they have a future in that country when the old and the grandparents do not have anywhere to go? They don't retire. They don't have any need to retire. So what are they preparing the youth for? So there's just it's nothing for us to celebrate a national youth day. There is nothing for anybody to even talk of a youth day because the youth in that country are useless when it comes to the administrative part of the country.
No, you are very correct. You make a very critical point there, comrade. You look at that country from their directors, their DOs, SDOs, their mayors, their parliamentarians, a bunch of all old people from the presidency down to every one of them that you can imagine. Every one of them is old. Now, even when they are not old, the youth have no role to play, no place in the politics of the country, in the economy. That's why everybody is running out of that country. Because the youth have no future. The youth have no say in the administration, in the politics, in the economy. Now, look at their parliamentarians. Look at their mayors. They are all old people, and yet the slogan has been sung for years upon years. Youths are the leaders of tomorrow, and yet the old people are not old and they are not even dying. I mean, look at Paul Biya. He is 94? The man is not dying. He has refused to die. How can the youth, and if they refuse to die, he doesn't even want to step aside and say maybe one young man should take over. No. Look at the two guys at the Senate and at Parliament. Jibri and what is the other man that they carry him back like a baby. Look at them. All old and dying folks, and nobody cares. And yet the slogan is, on 11th of February, they will go out and celebrate the youth. What are they really celebrating the youth? Those youths should be rioting. They should be rioting and throwing stones at them at that grandstand on the 11th of February. What are they celebrating? What is it about the youth? Zero.
Actually, there's really not the youth of even one thing I read yesterday was from one of their popular singer called Lady Pong.
Yeah.
I don't know, I think she has gotten it to the breaking point where she wrote on social media that if the youth of this country, if Cameroonians cannot take charge and take over their country, then they are going to keep suffering every day. And that came out of a social media post because of the electricity situation in that country. So what she is saying is what is in the minds of so many of these youths.
What did she
But
actually say? Remind me, please.
she wrote that the youth of that country should take it into their own hands to make change to change that country, because if they do not do it, this country is never going to change and we're going to suffer to the rest of our lives. So, and it was a long post. So those are some of the things that are in the minds of most of their citizens, but they cannot come out and say a word. I'm sure she's saying this because she's out of the country somewhere. Because you know what the results are whenever you say something that is not in line with what the people are seeing on the ground. So they have just made it. One thing that the government of that country has done in recent years is facilitating the production of passports and national identity cards, because they know the youths are all using those documents to leave the country, so that they, as the old and grandparents, will stay there and do nothing, and nothing is going to change. Because if you have 2, 3 million youths come out on the streets, they are going to be out of that place in one day. But they facilitate the extraction of all the youth to make sure all the youth leave the country, so that they should not have any threat from unemployment and other stuff that might happen because the youth are jobless. So it is something that they are planning, but people think, oh, they are just trying to improve on the production or whatever they are trying to do. But that is not the case. They are just trying to make sure the young people can all live, so that they don't have any threat coming from these young people. So there's nothing like youth in Cameroon. There's nothing like youth in La Republic, because they have all made sure the youth are useless or they are out of the country.
Now, when you talk about the lady singer, Lady Pons, I don't know her. I know I've seen a couple of her songs, and I know she's not alone in trying to rally the youth of that country to rise up against the cronyism that exists there. But do you see them? Do you see them? Do you really see the youth doing anything? I think that French Cameroonians, French citizens, there are the worst of cowards that you can think about, because from their leaders to them, we thought Camto was going to do something how many years ago? Almost 5 years ago. Camto made all the noise, just like Frundi in those days, and did nothing. Now, the people stood up, the youth in Francophone Cameroon stood up, the name, what is his name again? The opposition leader. I just called the name now. I forget now a lot.
Camto
retreated and chose to go to jail. Now they are talking about elections again, and people like the Lady Pons and the rest, they are appealing to the youth to rise up. I don't know. The problem is in that country, even when the youth rise up, there is no leadership, isn't it? There is no leadership. The youth rose up for Camto. The man surrendered and chose to go to jail.
Well, that is the case that has been the case in La République. But one thing that is clear, even the French, when Napoleon Bonaparte was ruling France, he did not see himself going down one day. And whatever they have done for all these years is going to come down. Nothing lasts forever. They have emboldened Cameroonians. They have emboldened their citizens. But unfortunately, we as Ambazonians, we do not have anything in common with them. Whenever they think they want to fight for their country, they should do it. But for us, we have our plans, we have our own agenda, and we are gone, and we don't want to even know what they are planning to do. But unfortunately, if they do not do it, they should be looking at what is going on in Somalia. Somalia has been a failed state for years. Now they are trying to rise up because they are seeing what is about to happen with Somaliland. So La République should not think things are going to be the same in their territory forever. Because when they become a failed state, even in Ambazonia, they will not have a place we will not give them that chance to start looking for jobs or running to Ambazonia. Because we know what their children, what their ministers and their slaves called ministers have done to make sure they send youths who are jobless in the La République territory to come to Ambazonia with guns and everything, and they are killing our children. If they are not careful, we're going to live like North and South Korea. And it's going to happen because they will have a zone around the Bonaberi or somewhere where nobody can cross to the other side, because we are not going to tolerate any trash from La République.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think that moment is cooking up, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to remind you all that this is what I call Operation Stop 11th February celebrations in Ambazonia, a forced so-called National Day being forced upon us by La République du Cameroon. And so we are here appealing to every one of you out there. If it is your $20, if it is your $10, if it is your $100, $50, $1,000, I am appealing to you to use the payment information on your screen. You have Zelle, you have Cash App, you have PayPal, you have Europe and the UK bank account. Please go ahead, screenshot that and use the information to go ahead, make a payment, screenshot the receipt, send to me, and I will announce it, to honor you. I see a payment here, a receipt sent to me from Dora. Dora, thank you, ma'am. You are wonderful. I see the sum of $150 from Dora. She is always there, always there. I can count on her any moment. Any day. Thank you, ma'am. Again, the payment information is right there on the screen. And if you don't have Cash App, you don't have Zelle, you don't have PayPal, you can go on amberdeals.com. amberdeals.com. Choose the option, make a one-time payment. Choose the option for a one-time payment and make your payment, screenshot the receipt, send to me, and I will read it, and I will also forward it to those who are tabulating the payment. We are looking forward to raising between 15 and 20,000 today, ladies and gentlemen, and we are only collecting cash. We are only collecting cash, and we are looking forward again for at least between 15 and 100, between 15 and 20,000 today in this fundraiser. There is a Zoom meeting going on where the funds are also being raised there. But for those of you who cannot join the Zoom meeting, please use those payment links, make your payment, and screenshot the receipt, forward to me, and I will read it, and I will give you the praise that you need for it. Okay. All right. All right. All right. So, Comrade Patrick, hold on in there. I like to bring this little special documentary on this February 4th. February 4th again. What is special about February 4th, ladies and gentlemen, is that today, February 4th, 2024, marks exactly 40 years when La République du Cameroun seceded, walked away from the Federation. They started with Federal Republic, went to United Republic, and then returned back to La République du Cameroun. I'd like you to stay put in there as I prepared, get a clip ready to bring it to you. Please don't touch the remote, stay put. As we get ready to do the needful on February 11, it is worthwhile to remember that the options for independence that were presented to our people on February 11th 1961 did not include the most popular option for independence as a stand-alone country for the southern Cameroons and Amazonia. Our people were limited to the choice between joining the Federal Republic of Nigeria as one of its states or joining La République du Cameroun in a two-state federation with equal status. By the will of the majority of our people, we agreed to join La République du Cameroun. Like in a typical childbirth, it is very important we note that at the birth of our nation, there was no midwife who had our backs, and so our umbilical cord was not cut. We were attached to the United Kingdom, but she undermined us. There was no one to wipe the blood from the baby nation. The vampire spouse was pleased with the blood it saw. It was pleased with the umbilical cord it saw, dry on the side of the United Kingdom and wilting on the side of the southern Cameroons. The vampire, the predator, and her friends thought that they had won, and that they would snap it off at any time to kill every language and culture that came with the trusteeship. They were wrong also. God was on our side. He caused them to focus on the superficial looks of quote-unquote bloody unwanted baby and take her for granted. La République du Cameroun tossed champagne to her annexation plan and went straight to setting that in motion. In their haste, two major omissions happened. Number one, no union agreement was signed for the loose federation. And number two, no new boundaries were established between the two countries. The Franco-British Declaration of 1919, also known as the Milner-Simon Declaration, showing the frontier separating the British Cameroons from the French Cameroon, was left untouched. Again, God was on our side indeed. But what does this mean? What does it mean? It means that the southern Cameroons maintain our physical borders, our culture, our people, and our national identity under the leadership of a prime minister. God preserved us when no one had our backs. Think about that. Now, on May 20, 1972, they destroyed the Federation. It was gone. And by November 6, 1982, Ahijo was replaced by Paul Biya so that he could accelerate the assimilation of the southern Cameroons. Without getting his ducks in a row, Mr. Biya rushed La République du Cameroun's restoration law through Parliament on February 4th, not the date, February 4th, 1984. The restoration law in question refers to the transition process or the transition from La République du Cameroun originally to the Federal Republic of Cameroon, to the United Republic of Cameroon, and back to La République du Cameroun. Please note this, February 4, 2024. Today is the anniversary of this law. What that means to us, what does that mean to us? The law indicates the timeline. They seceded, they left the Federation on February 4, 1984. The restoration law means that the southern Cameroons has been a floating nation since February 4, 1984. The restoration law means that La République du Cameroun and the southern Cameroons have been roommates with no common lease or legal strings binding them since February 4th, 1984. After 40 years in the wilderness, it is time to enter the promised land. Again, it is time to enter the promised land. And do we have any legal basis for the argument to enter the promised land, to return to the pre-1961 self-governing status? Of course, yes. Sequel to the passing of the Restoration Law, Barrister at Law in President Emeritus of the Cameroon Bar Association, Fundraising Goji Dinka, filed a motion against the Yaoundé administration in the Bamenda High Court. In the motion, he pointed out that by passing the Restoration Law, La République du Cameroun had seceded from the federal structure and had left the southern Cameroons as an independent nation. Goji Dinka named the territory he was referring to as the southern Cameroons, no longer British Cameroons, but southern Cameroons, then Ambazonia. Three things happened as a result of the lawsuit, and we must remember that they are all linked to February 4th, 1984. Number one, the Bamenda High Court handed down judgment in favor of Goji Dinka. It is worthwhile to repeat here that the favorable judgment means that La République du Cameroun seceded from the federal structure, and that automatically released the southern Cameroons from any union with La République du Cameroun. Number two, the Yaoundé administration appealed the Bamenda judgment and referred the case to their own military tribunal in Yaoundé, thinking that the military tribunal would accuse the plaintiff Goji Dinka of maybe sedition and then turn him over to be killed or to serve a sentence of life imprisonment. To Yaoundé's greatest dismay and surprise, of course, the military tribunal ruled that the plaintiff's case represented the true spirit and interpretation of the Constitution of the United Republic of Cameroon. The military tribunal therefore upheld the decision of the Bamenda High Court. Number three, Yaoundé wasn't done just yet, not at all. The administration appealed the decision of the military court by referring the case to the Supreme Court. However, the Supreme Court in Yaoundé upheld the decision of the military tribunal based on a constitutional provision that does not allow any other court in Cameroon to reverse the decision of a military tribunal. God again twisted the arm of the Pharaoh of Cameroon on February 4th, 1984, and Pharaoh left the southern Cameroons go, let the southern Cameroon go and worship their God. But disunity, greed, ego, and surrogacy, among others, has since set in causing our people to wander in the wilderness for 40 years. It is time to wake up as one people, one Southern Cameroons, one British Southern Cameroons, one Ambazonia, one under Indele, one under Funcha, to fight, one fight towards one goal, which is our sovereignty. We crossed over on February 11, 1961, to join La République du Cameroun. We were asked to go back. Again, we were asked to go back on February the 4th, 1984 by La République du Cameroun. And 40 years later, today, February the 4th, 2024, we must acknowledge that the Lord shall lead us with a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night as we cross over back to an independent nation which reflects the popular request of our people as of 1961. Fellow comrades, let's understand this, please. Let's understand that this work is already accomplished. It is done in the spirit realm. And what is required of us is to unite and speak with one voice and watch God. Watch God. We are not being naive because we know that our God, who was able to strengthen the hands of Gideon is the same God who will strengthen the arms of a small and united southern Cameroons, referring to the Amazonian army, our diplomacy, and our humanitarian efforts. I want to thank and give all gratitude to Kwame Mukong, who is the original author of the scripts. Thank you for watching. All right. Again, once more, I give the credit for that script to my friend and comrade, Kwame Mukong. Kwame Mukong, ladies and gentlemen, is the son of the Venerable Albert Mukong, who was one of the fiercest nationalists for a free and independent southern Cameroon. I hope you learned something from that script, from that presentation. If you didn't learn anything, do not forget, La République du Cameroon refuses to sit down and talk with us because they have nothing to prove. They have no evidence that we are in any union with them because, you know, as God will do it, as God will have it. In 1961, when they said we joined them, our borders were not erased. Our borders are still there as of date. In 1972, when they changed from Federal Republic to United Republic, our borders were not raised. Those pillars in the Mongo are still there. They are still there in Santa. They are still there between the BLM and Chang. Between I think these are the three that I know. All of those pillars are still there. And one very important point, ladies and gentlemen, is that now you know exactly how Cameroon seceded from the Union. 1961, the Union. That is assuming there was actually one. Then 1972, they walked away, they inched away from it in the name of greater unity. In fact, I learned that Ahijo said, oh, the federal system was so expensive to run, and so let's just form one united, lovely country called United Republic of Cameroon. And yet we now found out later this was all about exploiting the oil that had just been discovered in Victoria. That was what the United Republic of Cameroon was all about. Because as the federal president of two equal states in status, Ahijo would not exploit oil in the southern Cameroons under that federal structure. But discovering the oil, Ahijo knew if they changed the status from Federal Republic to United Republic, he is the president of the republic. He now has all the powers to exploit the oil in Victoria. And so they changed the name, they changed the status, Federal Republic to United Republic, so that they could reap the oil and all other resources in our backyard. The CDC was already there also. They knew the CDC was bringing in a lot of money. They wanted to lay there, and they did not want the southern Cameroons to run and control the CDC. They had just discovered oil and they did not want us controlling the oil. And so finally, when Ahijo left on 4th of February 1984, Paul Biya took over and changed from United Republic to the Republic, their original name at their independence. So we were essentially kicked out of the Union. Now, based upon that, Fongoji Dinka went to the Bamenda High Court and essentially stated and won the case that Yaoundé, Cameroon, seceded from the Union by virtue of going back to the name it inherited from independence, which is La République du Cameroun. The Bamenda Supreme High Court found it in favor of Fongoji Dinka. Now, Yaoundé was not happy at all. Now, Yaoundé decided to take the case to the military tribunal. Of course, when it's a military tribunal, I don't understand how you take a civil matter to a military tribunal. But between you and me, or you and I, you will realize absolutely the goal would probably have been to make sure that Goji Dinka is picked up and dumped behind Kondenge, behind bars. But unfortunately, it was strange, very strange. The Yaoundé military tribunal also found the case in favor of Goji Dinka by upholding the decision from the Bamenda High Court that Cameroon basically seceded, left the Union by going back to its original appellation of 1960. Now, but Yaoundé was still not satisfied. Yaoundé took the matter after the ruling from the military tribunal to the Supreme Court in Yaoundé. And the Supreme Court said, well, we have a rule in the books that no court in the land can rule against the position of the military tribunal. And so the Supreme Court equally maintained the position of the military tribunal, the position of the Bamenda High Court, and inadvertently that of Goji Dinka. And so, ladies and gentlemen, this is the reason why Cameroon will never go to any justice system, not the ICU, not at the United Nations, to sit down and discuss the legality of us leaving them, because they know that even their own courts have adjudicated this and given it in favor of Ambazonia. I hope this makes sense. I hope this is illuminating to you that within that country, the Bamenda High Court ruled that Cameroon left the Union. Their military tribunal ruled that Cameroon left the Union. Their Supreme Court ruled that Cameroon left the Union. So we have two. We're not standing on a single leg here. We have two strings of legs we are standing on: the law and the practicality of it. Our boundaries are there. No, don't forget. The two maps taken to La République du Cameroon to Paul Biya precisely from the United Nations. They know we have every reason to walk away. And listen, if they think they can go back to the federal status as of 1961, no, they make an error, because you walk away from it, you don't return to the vomit, because to them we were vomit, right? You don't return to your vomit. Let me come back to you, Comrade Patrick, because this is very, very illuminating. That's something that I don't think many people have ever grasped it. The idea that this thing went to court in Bamenda, went to court in Yaoundé, went to the Supreme, all the way to the Supreme Court, and all their courts upheld the fact that Cameroon, La République du Cameroun, seceded from the Union. I don't know, what is your take on that?
Well, Comrade Chris and fellow Ambazonians, everybody that has ever lived in that country, you understand that their courts are just political powerhouses. There's nothing like a court in La République, because if you go to court anywhere in La République and you do not have a godfather, you will be going to jail for no reason. We have so many Ambazonians. We have people who have won cases in La République. But the moment they get to the point where they have to execute the verdict, everything is changing because somebody in Yaoundé made a call. Somebody somewhere made a call that this thing has to be changed. So we are very clear. La Republic will never sit anywhere that they want to negotiate or they want to talk about the situation between Amazonia and La Republic because they understand that everything that they did was illegal. Every step that they have taken was getting away from a simple union or a simple understanding that they agreed with the leaders of West Cameroon in those days. But they are the people that took those steps to get out of these normal discussions. I can't say there was really no agreement because nothing was signed. It was just decisions from one step to the other. So all this Gojindinka is supposed to have been paid by these people because his verdict was clear. Amazonians have followed Gojindinka's steps in so many different ways because he opened the eyes of every Amazonian. He was a legal mind. He saw exactly what was wrong, and he pointed it out. The court accepted and agreed with him. He went to the military court, which was a La Republic military court, but because the military court did not see a way to manipulate the verdict, they had to just push it to the Supreme Court. But at the end of the day, the Supreme Court also followed the verdict from the High Court in Bamenda. So what is going on in La Republique is you cannot talk about courts in La Republique because they do not respect the rule of law. You have an example like we can go from left, right, and center. Abdul Karim, that is somebody that is locked up in Kondinge in Yaoundé. Can somebody stand up one day and point out the charges that they have against this guy, which are legitimate charges to lock somebody up? If you look at they have a few of their ministers, like Mebarak. They have the other guy who used to be the minister of territorial administration, administrator. All these guys are locked up. They have been vindicated, given, and they have also saved their time. But in La Republic, because the ministers or some political powers say no, we cannot pull them out of jail. But the courts have said they are supposed to be out of jail. You have Fonjindam, who was locked up for embezzlement, but they could not prove anything. He has saved his time. He's supposed to be out of jail like maybe 4 years ago. But you don't hear anybody talking about it. So La Republique is just a jungle where a few people have all amassed power and they decide what happens, and there's nothing like a court. Do you think any judge in Cameroon can stand up and say, I'm going to call the police to execute an order against any of the political leaders in La Republique? They cannot do that. So it's so hard if you are dealing with people who do not respect the law. They make their law based on what they want to achieve, not based on what the law says. So it's a situation that we are all going to talk about it, but Amazonians have seen certain things that we are building from, and we can never live in the same system like La Republique. That is why we have talked to every Amazonian. If you call yourself a leader, you should be ready and able to respect and enforce the laws put in place by us, because law is made to be respected, and we don't have to fight to get people to understand that something is illegal and something is not illegal. It's by the book, and you have to follow those rules. So we have a lot to learn from what is going on in La Republic, and knowing that when we are building Amazonia, we are building that based on the principles and the rule of law in our system, because La Republic is just a jungle.
Absolutely, that is what it is. Comrade, stay put in there. Let me try to push this fundraiser now. Ladies and gentlemen, please, I really want to appeal to you. We did this special show today because of what lies ahead on the 11th of February. We have to frustrate every effort by La République du Cameroon to force a so-called Youth Day celebration in our territory. We have long banned and tried to stop these festivities they keep bringing on. But just to send a message to the rest of the world that they still have control, they come once in a while with these so-called national days, Youth Day, 20th May, 11th February, elections, and so on and so forth. But it is incumbent upon us to also try to send a message not just to them but to the world at large that there is still war in Ambazonia, and Ambazonia refuses to take commands from La République du Cameroon, and we refuse to take any impositions from that damn country. So please, my appeal to you is use the payment information you have on your screen. The Zelle is there, the Cash App is there, PayPal is there. Use, and the website also is there, plus a bank account if you are in the UK or in Europe. Use all that information to make a donation. There is a Zoom meeting that is going on now where a fundraiser is being carried out there, but some of you cannot join. But please, I believe you can go ahead, make a donation with your Cash App or Zelle if you are in the USA. Or if you are anywhere else, you can go to the website amberdeals.com, click on the one-time donation button and make a payment, screenshot it, send to me, and I will make sure that I announce your contribution. Some of you already have the phone number out there with which you can call. If you don't have it, there you go. You have it right now. And if you also want to contribute to the show, you can call that number. But please, when you call, if you are calling from the diaspora, make sure you are also calling to contribute, make a donation, or tell me that you have just paid or you have just donated, and forward me your receipt. Forward me your receipt so that I can acknowledge your payment, please. I am looking forward to that. I am looking forward to your contributions. This is very important because we cannot keep on hoping that the restoration fighters overpowered La République du Cameroon. The restoration fighters will not overpower La République du Cameroon with bare hands. They will have to do so with tools that are provided them. And this is one way by which we do so. So please, I ask you, go to their phone, or go to their phone, use Cash App, use Zelle, or go online to amberdeals.com and make a generous contribution. If it is only $20, do not say, oh, it is too small. It is not too small. At the end of the day, it adds up. So please, do not hesitate. Do not hesitate to do so. I see so many of you on the chat here appreciating what we are doing here. Please also appreciate what the boys on the ground, they are doing by chipping in your best today. If you want us to frustrate La République, the incursion of La République du Cameroon in our territory in the name of National Youth Day, so-called 11 February. But if you cannot support and this mission fails, hey, please don't say that we didn't do our best. This is how we do it. And I look forward to you doing your best too. So please, again, use the payment information, the donation links you have on your screen, the Zelle, the Cash App, the PayPal, the website, and the bank account to make your contribution. After you make your contribution, screenshot it, send me the receipt. I will read it, I will announce it, and let you know. Somebody had just forwarded a receipt to me. Thank you, sir. You are blessed, and may you be replenished in Jesus' name. This is coming from, is it Siri? Something like that. Oh, this is, okay, from Bridget. Okay, wonderful. Thank you, ma'am. God bless you. $50. Thank you, ma'am. God bless you. God bless you. Please go ahead. Go ahead and send in, make your payment, and do not forget these payments. They are going straight to the National Treasury. They're going straight to the National Treasury. Bridget, thank you very much. And Dora sent in $150 earlier. Thank you both very much. For all of you watching by way of YouTube and Facebook, I am waiting for your receipts, for your screenshots to read. And if you are sending it, you don't want your name to be mentioned, just send me a text. Hey, just read the amount or give me a fake name of yours to call for the payment, and I will not hesitate to do that. Okay, again, you got the payment information there. Comrades, we only have about an hour to be here doing this, and so I really want to appeal to you passionately, very, very passionately. What we are doing, the work we are doing on the ground cannot be done with mere verbal or moral support. All we need is material support, financial support. And so please, let's do it now. Let's do it today. If we expect to see some action happening on the 11th of February. Comrade Patrick, I would like you to come in here to emphasize on the importance of our people supporting this initiative now. Because often you hear people say, oh, only firepower will do this, will do that. But I don't know how they expect firepower to happen if they are just supporting morally, if they are not putting their hands in their pocket to support firepower to make sure that it happens. I'll let you give your take, make your take on that, please.
Yes, comrade. One thing that we see and we hear sometimes is people say, "I want to see this action," or "I want to see this movement," or "I want to see this happening before I will put in my money." But none of this happens without being financed. We have to pay for every action that is being carried out on the ground. We see, like the Unity Warrior, these guys are not fighting with their hands. They have been able to amass enough supplies that they can carry on missions day in, day out against La Republic. That is putting enough pain on them. That is why when we come up with a situation like this, we say we want to stop this 11th February, we expect every Amazonian. Sometimes when we even analyze it, we have a very good population of Amazonians all over the world. But some people are just watching from the side. But remember, the few that have been contributing day in, day out are never going to get tired. But we are just appealing for every Amazonia to come up, chip in your $10, $20, $50, $100, because that is going to make a big difference. Because some of these actions on the ground, they don't even cost a lot of money. But you are not going to carry on one mission and just wait until you get more money. We have to make it a territory that is ungovernable and is not safe for the enemy. That is why we expect every Amazonian to understand that when you chip in $20, that is going to go a long way. $50, $100, that is going to help a lot to make the territory too hot for La Republique to be working on. And one thing that I got maybe yesterday that the colonial administrators have done or they are preparing to do, they have sent letters, threatening letters to all the government workers in every corner of Amazonia, like from LGAs to counties, telling them that they have up to a certain day, I think the 11th, 10th of February, to come to the administrative headquarters and sign in their name or and mark present. What they are trying to do is to gather these people so that they can take pictures and say, oh, this is what we did, this is where we celebrated the 11th of February. They are forcing our people to put them in the middle of the hard rock and the iron because the Amazonian restoration forces will not take a line down on anybody that will be stepping foot in front of the administrative headquarters. So many Amazonians have died. So many people have lost businesses, houses, and everything. So if you lose your job, I don't think most Amazonians are not even living off of the 60 or 100,000 that is being paid. They work their farms. If you lost that job within in the Amazonia context, we understand that you have also sacrificed, and we will expect the days ahead you will be getting a job within the Amazonia territory that is going to be able to be sustaining your families. People work farms. We are all farmers. We are hardworking people. We do not expect the government to make us live a better life. So every Amazonia administrator who is threatening our Amazonian population to come out and mark present or they will stop their salaries, you can just go ahead and stop the salary because that is just a way to even support what we know that you guys don't even have the money to pay these people. The only thing you are going to do is find a reason why you are stopping their salaries. So again, we know you are trying to do that, but every Amazonian in the diaspora and those who are on the ground chipping something, we want to make La Republic to understand that the ideology of our free territory is not going to stop by killing us or killing our population or threatening our population. We are going to do it and we're going to do it till the end. We want Amazonians to chip in whatever you can in this endeavor so that we can be able to move forward with all the plans that are being put in place by this administration.
Absolutely. And talking about what La République du Cameroon is trying to do at the moment, they are also rallying their lieutenants to the funds, the chiefs, the elite to, as in they are beginning to talk about elections. And it appears that they have early elections coming up and they are now rallying their forces to prepare for those elections. So I really need Ambazonians to do something, to do something. Somebody just sent me a message from Ground Zero. It says, uh, Mr. Chris, it is hot in Motengene. La République du Cameroon forces are arresting people this night. These same issues happened last week. The whole Boya Road, Antico Road, Motengene is full with the military of La République du Cameroon. I think uh, if I think it is their only way to make money in the name of Kale Kale. I have never seen this type of Kale Kale in the night. Again, that is somebody writing from Ground Zero in Mutengene. Good evening, Secretary Chris. I am in Ground Zero. How can I contribute? How can I contribute? Can you imagine, Comrade Patrick, that people from Ground Zero, they want to contribute. People from Ground Zero, they want to contribute. And in the diaspora, we have people that are just nonchalant and people from Ground Zero who are going through bearing the brunt of everything still want to put their money into this. Can you imagine that?
That is, that is the sacrifice that some Ambazonians and most of the Ambazonians have. And most of them on the ground, they know, they see it every day, and they understand that they want a free territory. That is why sometimes when we talk about, let's give the chance. If La Republic thinks that they are going to militarize Amazonia to submission, it's not going to happen. They should go to that point where they want to let the people on the ground decide what they want. And we'll see. We are law abiding people. If we put the laws and the rules are clear that they want to do a referendum in Amazonia, let them do it. Let us do it. Let's give the open chance for the Amazonian people to come out and say, okay, we want to stay with La Republic. We'll respect that. But they should give that chance for the people on the ground to decide. We just want to give Ambazonians who are fighting every single day. What this person is texting you is how he feels about what they're going through on the ground. We have all seen that. We have all witnessed that. But we cannot let our guards down. if La Republic think they are going to keep killing our people and one day this is going to stop, then they have made a mistake. They know they have taken from the example of 2008 when the constitution of La Republic was changed from a term limit to an open presidency for Biya to stay there. The people in Douala came out. It was a few days, over 100 people were killed. Everybody went back to their shells. They had that in their mind that, oh, these Amazonians, they have come out with peace plans. We are going to start killing them. They are going to go back to their shells. It's been 7 years, and Amazonians are more determined and are more powerful to make sure we get this to the final end. So anybody that thinks this is going to end in the way that La Republic is thinking, they are making a mistake because Ambazonians are going to fight and we are going to fight till Ambazonia is free. So we know how many Ambazonians are on the ground who really want to contribute, but they are so scared. They don't even know how to do it because we know La Republic tracks, they try to track some of what is going on the ground. They look at every financial transaction and to even show how broke they have become. Now, anybody sending mobile money to La Republic, you pay charges for sending the money, and the person collecting the money still pay charges for La Republic. So it is so unfortunate because they have mismanaged the country to the point where they don't even know what to do on how to raise the money to run their country. So even like the fuel prices, those are just ways for them to think, oh, we should be able to raise a little bit of money here and there to keep running the country. But at the end of the day, that country is going to collapse, and Amazonia is going to be a new nation in Africa where people are going to respect the law and everybody is going to see the respect that a country is supposed to have.
Absolutely, absolutely. We are going to be the pace setters. We are going to be the pace setters in Africa by God's grace. However, we will have to pay for it first. We would have to pay for it before we can dream of becoming those pace setters. Ladies and gentlemen, you have the payment link right there in front of you, the Zelle, the Cash App, PayPal, the website payment link, and you also have European payment information on the screen. I'm pleading with you, let us frustrate this so-called youth there. Let us stop it. It will take our finances to stop it. And we are here appealing to you to go, get on your phone or on your computer, use Zelle, use Cash App, use PayPal, or go to the website, make your payment, support the effort. When you've made your payment, take a screenshot of the payment and forward to me. I will announce it to honor you for the payment. So please, I'm appealing to you to do so. All right. Hello, Secretary Chris. I'm writing from Ground Zero, Kumba, to be precise. There is this La République du Cameroon police officer who is terrorizing the people of Amazonia so terribly. He is petit pays. I want to contribute. How do I do it? All right. Thank you for your message, sir. Thank you for your message. I will ask that you text me again so that we can reach out to you and give you some means by which you can make a payment from Ground Zero. You are the second person. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I cannot listen to audio. If you send me an audio message, I cannot listen to it now because I am live. If you are sending me a message, it has to be on text. It has to be text. unless you want to call directly into the show to make a payment. So, comrades, please, we have about 30 minutes to round this up. I am waiting for your patronize. I am waiting for your patronize. I can't believe that we have close to 200 people on both YouTube and Facebook, and only 2 payment receipts have come in here so far. Please, if we get tired, if we get fatigued on giving to sustain this struggle, how do we think we are going to make it? How do we think we can get victory from a country that operates with billions on a yearly basis? So again, I'm appealing to all of you who are still seated out there, do the sacrifice. Do the sacrifice. Make a payment, $50, $100, $1,000 if you can. I'm really waiting for somebody out there who will say, Secretary Chris, I am putting down 500 or I'm putting down $1,000 towards stopping this colonial holiday in our territory. I am really looking for that person, for that lady, for that gentleman. Please make us proud. Make us proud. All right, Comrade Patrick, La Republic is planning elections very soon in that country. I guess they are trying desperately to quickly transition from Paul Biya to Frank Biya, and they are planning elections really, really soon. What is your take on that?
Well, that is one of those moments that we all want to see, because for years we have heard and seen that they do not have any succession plan. And in the past 3, 4 years, Pobia saw his grip to power falling apart. And he decided he wanted to prop his son into the political arena. But unfortunately, his son was not the most charismatic, the most intelligent person, because he could have started maybe 20 years ago, 15 years ago, to start putting his son in areas that he has some level of responsibility or governance, learning things that he can even do as a leader of a country. Like, just take the example of Equatorial Guinea, where the son used to be minister here and there, and now he is the vice president. We know that one is going to be clear. But how is Frank Biya going to be able to take power in La Republic? That country is just bound to collapse because there are too many people hanging and waiting on the sideline to take power in that country. Like these guys, they think, oh, we are going to use the same tactics that we've used to suppress people. But when you look at the Bassa, you look at the other factions of the Yaoundé clan, from the Beti and all those things, and then the Bororo, the Hausa people. These people are preparing. They know the succession is coming, and they know it's their turn to move power to their territory. La Republic is not going to succeed with what they are trying to do. If I can remember right, it was maybe 2 years ago when the diplomatic corps in Yaoundé, they met with the powers that be in La Republic and made it very clear to them it would be a mistake for you guys to try to hand over power to Frank Biya, or not use your constitution to change power in this country, because things are going to get chaotic. So we know Ambazonia has even opened the eyes of so many Cameroonians. Ambazonia have done what most people thought was impossible, because they saw the Bia clan, the Bia regime, to be untouchable, or nobody could challenge them. But we have done what we know that was the right thing to do, and we are doing the right thing until we get what we need. But La Republic will not succeed with their succession, but they are going to try it. And that is when their country is going to eventually fall apart. So, what I think there was a message that you sent to me yesterday about preparation of registering people for voting, and those are things that they will do. They will do that in the background, and before you know it, they're announcing, "Oh, this is happening. We have elections on this day," and all that stuff. But knowing that La Republic, they have set themselves for failure, and they are not going to succeed. This is not going to happen because we know we call them chicken heads because when they come out with guns and stuff, they will run away. But this time, the succession plan in Cameroon in La Republic will not work.
Absolutely. Thank you, comrade. Ladies and gentlemen, the phone line is open. You want to call in with a contribution, please go ahead and do so. Most of you have the number out there. And again, I am still very much appealing for your donations to help us frustrate this so-called Youth Day, 11 February, happening or being planned for our territory by a colonizer. We have to stop them. We have to stop them. Now, let me get to the lockdown, the question of the lockdown. Comrade Patrick, you hear some guys are out there using fighters who ran away from Ground Zero and are in Nigeria to make audio messages sending to Ground Zero that lockdown starts on day 6. Now, I don't know why anybody in his right senses would want to punish people on the ground for a 7-day lockdown. Doesn't make sense, Comrade Patrick.
Well, Comrade Chris, that is one of the things that for all these years we have built a structure that we want to look at as an Amazonian that is going to follow the law and work according to the will of the people. We want leaders who are servant leaders who look at the atmosphere of the territory and say, okay, this is how we're going to organize or we're going to set up, we're going to prioritize our activities on the ground. It is really unspeakable for somebody to think 11 February is next weekend. You want to create a scenario where the people will stay home for 1 week, doing nothing, and then they go back the week after. Well, we know La Republic is not going. They are going to try to organize one or two things here and there, but it's not going to work. The 3 days that have been set up, the 10th, 11th, and the 12th, that makes a lot of sense, and you can now understand that some of our so-called leaders who are propagating those 6-day or 7-day lockdown, they are not doing this for the good of our revolution. They just want to see how much pain they can put on our people so that the people can go against us or against the revolution. But unfortunately, the people listen to the power, the real Amazonian fighters. They listen to the leaders of Amazonia, not people who have been kicked out and they are calling people who are sitting in some foreign countries just to make noise and say, oh, we'll give 6 days lockdown. Who did they talk to? How did they coordinate? How did they analyze the fact that we wanted a lockdown for 6 days? What do you want to accomplish for 6 days? So those are some of the things that they are making it very clear to understand that there are people who are for this revolution and some people who are not for this revolution. So again, those fighters who have run away from Amazonia and they are still being used to make audios talking about lockdown on these days, they are just becoming useless as the people who are telling them to do it because they are not doing it for Amazonia.
I think they're really making, both those fighters and the people asking them to make the audios are really making a fool of themselves, because I don't know how, if you are on Ground Zero, somebody sits in Nigeria and they claim to be fighting somewhere on the ground and is making audios for a 1-week lockdown just because he's been told to do so. But let's look at another angle of the stupidity in it. This struggle is not, we are not in this to inflict more pain on people who are already going through a lot. The reason why we do lockdowns is not that we want to use lockdown to win the war. We just want to use it to send a message to La République du Cameroon. And for somebody to think that 7 days it's a good thing to do, I think it's just they're not being realistic. They don't know what they're fighting for. They don't know how to fight the war. Let's send a message. We have said, including the restoration fighters, even the ADF guys have gone out and announced 3 days lockdown. We discussed with them and we agreed, let us agree on a unique day, and we agreed February the 10th to the 12th. And the 12th would not be there if it wasn't a Monday. In other words, it would have been 2 days, but for the fact that Monday is a regular ghost town day. But we want everybody on ground zero to go about his or her business until Saturday the 10th, Sunday the 11th, and Monday the 12th. These 3 days, those are the recognized, those are the announced days for lockdown. Comrade Patrick, if you have anything to add there.
Yeah, I think those guys have made themselves to to become very irrelevant because we understand exactly what our people have gone through for the past 7 years, and it doesn't matter if we agree on everything that we're supposed to do on how we're going to execute the fight on the ground, but when we want to do something that is going to affect the whole of Amazonia, it's good that we call even people that we do not agree on every area with to talk to them, communicate with them. That is exactly what I see you come up every day and talk about this unity of purpose. Because it doesn't mean when you we just take the example, the US government is more like a democratic and a republican government. But when they want to do something that is supposed to affect the whole of the whole of America, they come together as one. They talk, they negotiate, and say, okay, how good is this for the country? And they come together on compromise on certain things just because they are doing something that is going to help the whole country. That is why in Amazonia we have so many different factions that some of them claim that they are fighting, but we don't know if they're fighting. But at a certain level, when we want to make a decision on a lockdown, which is supposed to affect the whole of Amazonia, we can still talk to each other. We might disagree politically, but we are not enemies. We should be able to pick up your phone, call the other person, and say, okay, we want to put this lockdown, but we want to coordinate it so that it should be one voice coming from the Amazonian fighting force. And one thing that I've seen growing in Amazonia that is very, very spectacular is the fact that the fighters on the ground, they are all communicating with each other. They are all agreeing, coming together to fight because every country might have 200 or 10 political parties, but it's one military, which is what we have to do. We have to do that. Get one military that is executing this war, even if they have different political uh, affiliations or they support any particular political group. But at the end of the day, Amazonians have to get one message when it comes to lockdown and certain actions that we have to take on the ground. So, unity is something that we've been preaching. You have preached, you've even made effort to call people. And if we do not do that, some people will one day regret what they are doing to this revolution if they don't see the need that they have to be able to call the other person, even if we do not agree on every aspect.
Absolutely, absolutely. Uh, well, Comrade Patrick, thank you very much for being part of the broadcast. I guess you may want to join the Zoom too. We'll round this up in the next 15 minutes. So thank you for being part of the broadcast, sir.
Thank you, Comrade Chris, and see you at the Zoom.
All right, all right. Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please, I am really appealing to you to please do your best to contribute, to support this effort aimed at stopping the 11th February celebrations in our territory, especially when it is being enforced by a colonial annexationist power, La République du Cameroon. Go ahead and make your payment and assist in this initiative. I am going to round up here, and I will be back tomorrow again with a very special guest. I will be back here tomorrow with a special guest. Eric Chinje will be joining me here tomorrow for a very special show, and I expect you to tune in. We do not have any publicity material for that, but you tune in and as usual and be part of the show. Again, I will be rounding up here right now at this moment to join the Zoom. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Good night.